Okay, we've got to move this up. This is King of Siam. Of course, a print and play version because I can't find it, and I think it's only in German. King of Siam, I said, right? And it's an action selection area control game. You get a hand of cards that includes different things like put one of each color into any state, put 2 reds into anything next to a majority red state, etc., etc. Like different actions of which there's only one of each except this one, right? And each player gets that. Then each player starts with 2 different colored things, and these cubes represent political parties or tribes that you're trying to get to back the king. So the winner of the game is the person who has the most of the color of the winner in their hand. So if you've ever played Turncoats or El Grande or whatever that one's called, similar idea. So let's say I have 6 reds in my hand at the end of the game, and this guy has 6 yellows, and red wins, then this guy wins. There's also an invasion mechanic where if anytime a conflict or a election is held and it's a tie, then the British come and invade. And if the British invade 4 times, I've forgotten who wins that. Someone specifically wins that. And that's the strategy I usually use. Anyway, I'll look up the rules and I'll put that in later. And this is the order of the elections, and you can manipulate this order, but basically the land with an X in it, this one, will have their election first, second, third, whatever. The colors have a base, and so the red base always starts with at least 2 reds, the yellow base has at least 2 yellows, the blue at least 2 blues, and then there's different rules to what happens when you're adjacent to a majority. So this is a majority yellow, so you can only use the majority yellow card either side. And in the original game, they had really fancy names for each of these moves, and you would learn those names. I dispensed with those because you can use this modular board for 2 other maps. There's an Ethiopia map and there's a British map, right? And there are different rules for those, but I haven't put those different rules. I just use the different map because that creates a different, like this is a different part of the map, because you can only get to the blue once and you can only use the blue to this. So for example, so we'll go through a few turns and then hopefully that'll be clear. So let's say this guy goes first. Oh yeah, and as soon as everyone has passed, the election comes. So if I do a move and then pink passes, I can have another move. It's until everyone passes, but if you've passed, you're out for the round. So let's say I look at the board and I see that there's a bunch of blues, a bunch of yellows, a bunch of reds, and I've got a blue. So I'll lean into the blues. So this is a majority, and this is coming up soon. This is a majority, and it's coming up soon. So I can break majorities and move things around. So let's say I put 2 reds. Yeah, that's true. Put 2, so I play this card, and I put 2 reds next to states that have majorities of reds. So this is a majority, this is a majority, this is a majority. So I'll get 2 reds from the box, which may be off camera, and I'll put a red here next to a majority, and then I'll put a red here next to a majority. Then at the end of your turn, you can choose one of the tribes to take off the board to put them in your court. I don't know if they say court, but that's Turncoat, I think. So I'm going to take, maybe I'll lean into the reds. I'm going to take a red and put it in my court. Then it's pink's turn, and pink's going to look at the board, and it's pretty happy with the state of things because it's got a red, that might be off camera too, and a yellow, and this is going to go first, so hopefully this will win. So it's going to pass. Then black will think also like, oh yeah, I like that. I'll pass as well. So then the X election happens. So it's a majority red. So we take all the boxes off and put a red here. So currently that land is owned by the Reds. He passed last, right? So then it's Pink's turn. And Pink looks at the board and sees that yellow's coming up. Yellow is going to trigger. And he's going to go for reds, and so, I mean yellows, so maybe he will... No, he's going to pass. Then this guy sees that this is going to trigger. He wants to set up some more reds, so he will do the one in each. He'll play the one in each, so he'll get one of each, and he'll play a red into here to make a majority. He'll put a yellow in here to hopefully get rid of a majority, and a blue in here to ruin the majority, and then he will pick up the yellow. Will he? Yeah, to ruin the majority for this guy. So he passes. Then Pink looks at it and thinks, nah, I gotta get that majority back. So then he plays the yellow next to a majority, and he puts yellow in here to get the majority back, and puts yellow in here to attempt to get the majority back. And then he takes a red too, just to put a spanner in the works. Black passes for some reason. Pink passes for some reason, just to speed that up. And so this goes into the box and the yellow comes on the board. So then the whole game plays. So sometimes you'll use up all of your strengths really quick, and then you'll just have to pass for the rest of the game, which allows your opponent to just take over and do whatever they want. Or sometimes you'll just pass for a while until you can see a majority come really clear. But let's just run a few elections to speed up the game. So this is a blue majority. This is a tied majority. This is a yellow majority. Oh crap, I'm not doing it in order. This just happened. This just happened. Oh yeah, that's the other rule. So that one of the cards changes the order of the elections and then brings the king into it. So if you play this, let's say they played this and they wanted to change Pink to go first, and then you can play your king tile, which for me is just a crown, and you want to say this is not going to move. It has to stay in this order. And then everyone passed, so this was flipped too, and it was a draw. So now, and so then this would trigger too, so that would be a yellow. And let's say we played a few cards, and for some reason this guy has this, and for some reason this guy has this. And then this, that's been triggered, so that disappears. And then we're down to, that's a red majority. We're down to the red, right? And let's say Pink has this card, and Black has this card. So red plays this. This is one of each in any location, and because there's only one location left, you have to put it all in there. And then he's out of move, so now he has to pass for the rest of the game. And this guy, he should have a majority red, just for laughs. This guy knows that if he passes, he'll get a red, right? But if he played this, it's a 2 swap for a 1, and there's nothing to swap with. So then this doesn't happen, and he just takes one from the board. So then he would take a yellow from the board and trigger, that would be triggered because he has to pass, so that's a red majority. So let's say that this was a red. Then there would be a majority 4 and reds would win, and then this guy would have 3 and this guy would only have 2, so this guy would win. But because there's 3 yellows and 3 reds, it's a draw. So then we seek who has the most of each. And this guy has the most yellows and the most reds. So because he's supporting both teams more than the other, this guy wins. I hope that's clear. I hope that's the rules. Excellent.